Hey, what's up, fam? This is Kentriarch, and if you're new here, welcome to the family. If you're returning, thanks for being a part of it. All right, it is once again Friday, TGIF, so that means another Triple F video. This week, we are going to be reviewing the exotic pulse rifle Graviton Lance. Thanks to Nathan Park Hodge for the suggestion on last week's Triple F video. If you haven't watched it, you can check it out here. Before we get started, please follow me on my other social media. I just started all this a month ago, so I could really use some friends. Links in the description. As with all Triple F videos, please comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to see next week. Eventually, I will set up a giveaway for the person whose suggestion gets picked, but for now, it will result in a shout out. As always, if you like the content, give those like and subscribe buttons a little tickle tickle. All right, let's get to it.
I cannot really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I might rent the Lambo and go drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild.
All right, first up, let's dive into the perks so we can understand what this exotic does. For the intrinsic perk, we have Black Hole. Second shot of a burst rips a hole through space-time, doing high damage and recoil with no fall off. Column 1, we have Hammer Forged Rifling. Double ranged barrel, which increases range. Second column, we have Accurized Rounds. This weapon can fire longer distances, which also increases range. Third column is where we start to see some magic. Cosmology. Kills with this weapon cause enemy targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track targets. In the final column, we have Fitted Stock. This stock makes the weapon stable but heavy, so increases stability, moderately controls recoil, and then slightly decreases handling speed. And lastly, for the Catalyst, what it states is better target acquisition. What I believe it does is it gives plus 18 to range, and then as well gives plus 15 to target acquisition. So, in a nutshell, the Graviton Lance is a 2 round burst pulse rifle. The second round is what does the high damage and recoil. I'll show you a slowed down clip here. That second bullet does almost 4 times the damage as that first bullet. You'll notice this crit here, and then we'll also show you that cosmology perk that has that detonation, does about 7,500. So that detonation is going to be double the damage of that already high damage round. So basically, what that means is though is that when you shoot this weapon, you want to make sure you're hitting your crit with that second round. Now it does have a little bit of recoil, so this basically means you kind of want to shoot around their neck, which I did a terrible job of when I first started using this weapon because it kind of takes a little bit to get used to. You got to readjust your aim. Now, along with that cosmology perk, after that detonation, it does spawn void projectiles that track targets. I found that those don't do as much damage. They can finish off some combatants, but that main damage is on that first initial detonation. When this weapon first came out in Destiny 2 Vanilla, it was definitely a powerhouse. People used it PvE, and it was definitely used in PvP. Obviously, the sandbox has changed. So, how does the Graviton Lance fare in today's sandbox? Well, I still thoroughly enjoyed this in PvE. Uh, I paired it with Nezarec Sin, which void damage increases ability regen. This weapon does void damage, the detonations do void damage, and those void projectiles also do void damage. So it increases ability regen quite often and gave me that super back fairly quick. Now, the damage was satisfactory as well. The TTK was low enough, or the time to kill, that I had no problem using this as my main weapon throughout the gameplay. And then the void detonations did a fantastic job of clearing out the ads. Final note, I don't even have the catalyst fully completed on this yet, which gives even more target acquisition, but this weapon was extremely easy to hit those headshots with. And I'm going to bring that up in PvP as well. But overall, I would rank this weapon in the higher B tier, in the lower A tier. There are better options probably out there, but this weapon had no problem holding its own. Now, in PvP, I was actually quite surprised at how well this weapon performed. As I just mentioned, the target acquisition is pretty darn good, which makes it really easy to use in PvP. The only thing that's really drawn back on it is obviously just the sandbox and not having pulse rifles be in a very good spot right now. It's definitely better in long range situations. It's not very good in close range, so make sure you bring a shotgun with you, and then the cosmology detonation is effective. It's just going to be kind of a rare occurrence. It will take somebody down if they're right next to the person you just killed, but that's not going to be something that's going to happen all the time. Overall, I'd put this weapon probably in the lower B tier, and that's honestly just because of the sandbox right now. And that is always changing and evolving, so we could see this weapon boosted back up. That target acquisition is fantastic. The TTK is just a little too low right now for this meta. And with that, I will conclude this week's featured Firearm Friday. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below, as well as offering a suggestion for next week's episode. I would much rather do a triple F video on something that you guys would like to see, and rather than me just pick something. As always, if you liked the content, give those like and subscribe buttons a little tickle. And if you can, please help me out and follow me on my other social media, my Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the description. Until next time, take care, fam.
And I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind.